What's up YouTube? Honeybee here, bringing you a new video, and in this video we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about just my thoughts about being in the NetherRealm Studios competitor content creator space. Essentially what triggered my thoughts about all this. I've been having thoughts about all this, but kind of what triggered me wanting to talk about this with you guys is this tweet that DJT had made on Twitter. So let me show you guys. So DJT had made this tweet saying, "To be completely honest, I enjoyed competing, but I can't help but feel that a lot of the time was spent unproductively. I could have invested those thousands of hours into something more worthwhile. I have nothing but respect for those who are still pursuing it." He then continues on to say, "I've met some amazing people along the way, but in the end, the time spent competing feels like a missed opportunity." So a lot of people have been talking about this. I want to kind of shine a light on what some responses to this have been and those type of things before I get into my thoughts. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know who DJT is, he's like something of a legend in the NRS space. He was competing from MK9. He actually won EVO 2013, I believe, for Mortal Kombat 9. And yeah, he was like a top player in MK9, Injustice 1. I think the first EVO he actually got, I want to say, second place to KDZ. He made multiple top 8s in Mortal Kombat X as well. I feel like Injustice 2 is kind of where he stopped being like as competitive in like the games and stuff like that. But I know like MK11, he wasn't playing a whole lot, but he was still playing the games and stuff. He's, you know, gone on to do his own thing. I know he posts a lot about like going to the gym, stuff like that. I think he has gone on to do other like things in life. He's not like super into you know, gaming, being part of like the tournament scene or stuff like that anymore. But at one point he was incredibly prevalent, right? Part of the Yomi Boys, all these things. If you know, you know. So let's take a look at some of like the responses to what is said here. For example, Silver Eye says, "Man, I feel you. I think about it here and there, to be honest." DGT says, "I know we aren't all entitled to anything, but it's like, damn, I spent literally thousands of hours for Dookie Return. Love the people I met though. Not trying to discourage anybody, but damn, I'd be wishing I optimized my time in the past. It is what it is though, you keep pushing." Okay, I'm not sure who this guy is, but he has an interesting take. "I don't know you. I won't try to presume I know your brain, but I know for me it's a never-ending cycle. X thing I did 10 years ago that didn't turn me into a success or contribute to my current happiness was a waste of time / mistake. It's all mindset, in my opinion. That's not the way to see." Like, I kind of understand what he's getting at here in terms of just a lot of it is mindset, right? What you think about the time that you spend doing stuff is, if you hadn't done X thing, maybe you could have spent that time doing Y thing. Maybe you could have been somewhere else in life. Maybe you could have done something else, right? I feel like a lot of these thoughts will likely kind of probably come into your mind more so as you get a little bit older, right? As you've experienced things in like your, you know, late teens, 20s. I kind of feel like this whole kind of thought process is probably more so of the people that are like late 20s or into their 30s, maybe beyond that in life, but you're probably not really thinking about this type of thing when you're like in your teens or very early 20s. You're just kind of thinking, well, you know, do you want to just do something fun? Do you want to work? Whatever. Yeah, different things on your mind, I'm sure. Tweety over here is saying, "You don't know how much I feel this to my core, bro. Over the last couple years, every time I get a spark of motivation to compete heavy again, is quickly extinguished by the reality that the juice is not worth the squeeze." Great thing to say, to be honest. "I love the games, love streaming, love popping in a tourney here and there. To try to chase being able to beat guys like Sonic and the Chileans requires a commitment that in a lot of ways I regret ever having for these games. I don't regret it entirely, of course, but yeah, like, I'm grateful that that resulted in a lot of people fucking with me, showing up anytime I stream or do anything because they remember good times watching me. That's the thing that stops me from regretting it entirely." I do think Rips had some good points to be making about this, saying it's actually funny because for me it's the exact other way around. I genuinely think it's wrong to just look at things from a monetary POV or from a ROI perspective. I spent my entire early life, 17 to 30 years, working a solid job, prioritizing career over hobby slash fun. Because I thought it was the smartest thing to do. I always thought I have time later on in life to make up for missed opportunities. I'm now in my mid-30s with some unfortunate health complications, and my biggest regret in life is not having enjoyed my younger years. So my personal what if scenario is, what if I would have spent more time on a hobby I enjoy? What if I played more video games with friends back then? What if I would have gone for stupid and irrational decisions from time to time? Would I be happier now? I think the answer is yes. I do think one other person I want to bring up here to just mention, show what he's been saying, is Tekken Master, who said the OGs and NRS are retiring, and it's sad to see that some of them regretted competing and spending time into practicing a lot. I think you guys forgot the feeling you get when you win and your hard work pays off. People cheering your name behind you and the adrenaline rush. You get. We met a lot of people, built connections from around the world. And if your career wasn't as successful as Sonic, it doesn't mean it went wasted because you didn't get enough money. Remember the joy you felt doing so. I never thought of doing it for the money in the beginning. So, a lot of takes, right? A lot of takes out here. A lot of thoughts to be had in terms of, you know, is it worth it with all this thing? I will say, at the end of the day, when it comes to esports, especially in like the fighting game scene, stuff like that, it should be treated mainly as a hobby, right? Don't try to get into it as a career. Now, when it comes to me, I'm someone that, you know, got into the NRS scene, saw success when it came to like tournaments and competing. I'm still around today, which is a rarity because I did join the scene back when Injustice 1 dropped in 2013. It is now 2025, 12 years later, and I'm still out here playing NRS games. And I think for me, it's an interesting scenario, right? Because I got into this wanting to just compete, show people that I was good in Injustice 1 and stuff like that. And at the time, I was like finishing up my studies with university. I completed all that when MKX dropped. I didn't really have any jobs lined up when I was graduating, and then MKX was also just coming out, and there was suddenly money to be won, right? Like I was traveling quite a bit for Injustice 1 with no money really on the line. I didn't think I could really do a whole lot with it, but then it's just like MKX comes out and suddenly they're like, oh yeah, there's a $10,000 prize pool for this and this and this and this. And I was like, well, I was getting like top 3s and stuff in Injustice. Like maybe I can keep that up with MKX. Maybe I can be getting, you know, a couple $1,000s here and there from going to these tournaments. And suddenly it became like, oh, you know, maybe I can make some money out of this. And you know, Evo 2015 comes around for MKX. They have a $50,000 pot bonus. I went, I got 3rd place. Suddenly I got like an extra $10,000 in my bank account, and I'm just like, wow, like I can potentially do this. Now, that whole story, the story of me like competing and stuff like that, and kind of where I got, what got me to where I am today, that's a long story. But I will just say have been able to find success when it came to like doing this through, you know, competing, getting tournament winnings, getting a sponsorship with Beast Coast for like a good period of time, and they were like an amazing sponsor, which really helped me just push the whole content creation stuff. And you know, they helped me go to tournaments. I was doing that, I was getting paid, I was streaming on Twitch. I got this deal with Facebook that was also very good, which allowed me to continue streaming, doing that. I started doing coaching lessons and stuff like that, training people, helping people get better. I was doing all these things to try to, you know, find a way to make this sustainable, as sustainable as I could, right, for the time. And I did manage to make 6 figures for like 5-6 consecutive years. And the thing is, now it's getting to a point where I've been working towards getting like my real estate license for the past 2 years. I finished all my courses. I'm in the process of registering and everything like that. So if you guys are in the Toronto area and you want a real estate agent, you know, send me a message, because I could potentially help you. But outside of that, I am currently like looking into the future. You know, I have a wife, I have a kid now. You know, I've always been in the space, in the mindset of like, you know, it's going good, but this is such a unfamiliar, unstable industry that you really don't know how long it's gonna be good. So, you know, capitalize on it being good as long as it's good. Be smart with your money, invest it, save it, do all that stuff so that you can potentially, you know, have a cushion to fall back on if things go to shit. And yeah, I'm not gonna say things have gone to shit, because things are still good, right? But it isn't as good as it was like a few years ago, right? Like, not as many sponsors in the scene. Esports is, yeah, you know, there's some money to be won, but nothing substantial, at least when it comes to like NetherRealm games. Nothing that like you can make a whole career out of type thing, right? So not enough sponsors, that type of stuff. Streams aren't really giving people like contracts like they were like, you know, 5 years ago or whatever. So things have changed. But ultimately for me, like, I look back on my time competing and stuff like that with a lot of fond memories, right? Like, I met so many great people competing at these tournaments, people from mainly all over the States, but also people from other parts of the world, right? People in Europe, like Tekken Master as well from Bahrain, like people from all over. People from Australia, like I've met Waz and all those guys, and I wouldn't change it, you know, like I wouldn't change a thing about anything that happened there. I could have spent like my last 8 years or so sitting in an office job doing whatever. Maybe I would have been moving up with the company, maybe not, who knows. But I've always appreciated the flexibility that I had from being able to do content creation, gaming, whatever, full time. I've appreciated the time that I've been able to spend, you know, with my wife, as you know, she was pregnant, and before that spending time getting married, going on a honeymoon, doing all these things. Now, I'm not trying to flex, right? I'm not trying to gas myself up and gloat and stuff like that, but I am doing pretty well for myself. Through gaming, I've been able to get a house and, you know, get married and have investments and whatever, and like, I'm pretty comfortable. So, you know, I don't regret any of the stuff that I've done, but I can completely see why what this is should be mainly taking as a hobby. And I guess for me, I would say, in terms of like one of my biggest regrets or things that I look back on from doing this for the past 8 years, it's kind of like, I know that me doing this for the last 8 years or so means like, oh yeah, I can do cool combos and whatever in these games, but I'm not developing as much like skills, right, that can be transferred into the workplace, or I don't have as much stuff to put on a resume or something like that if I'm trying to like get a job elsewhere. I think that's one of those things that kind of just I think about. I'm just like, yeah, I guess that's kind of bad, right? Yeah, that's one thing I think that I have looked at with the whole gaming stuff and thought, you know, maybe I've been lacking because of that. I will just say, at the end of the day, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy streaming, and I appreciate the Hive, the community so much. People that come through the streams on a regular basis, people that watch these YouTube videos like yourself, if you're watching this, and that have, you know, been able to make this a reality for me. I got my, you know, plaque that I wanted for the longest time. We got that. We have medals, all that fun stuff. And it's like, now it's kind of just like looking into the future and stuff like that. And for me, it might be real estate, you know. When Injustice 3 potentially comes out, I'm gonna want to still play it. I know people know me and want to see me play Flash, maybe as much as I do want to play Flash. So, you know, I have a lot of things to look forward to. And yeah, I'm just appreciative for what we've got and what I've been able to build in this time. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want me to go into detail about like how I managed to do professional gaming or content creation and stuff like that, and get a little bit more of a breakdown, maybe even like get into the dollar figures a little bit more, let me know in the comments below, and if there's enough interest, maybe I'll make a video. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys in the next one.